Okay, so to be clear, you do know that this all can be used against you, right? Anything you say to me.
Yes.
Okay. And so your name is, do you want your name on here? Or do you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm talking to Jamie.
I don't mind at all.
Okay, and let me just kind of the backstory on how this episode is going to be is this the guy I'm talking to today is Jamie, and his ex-girlfriend is on a previous episode of mine talking about their domestic abuse situation, and he reached out to me wanting to tell his side of the situation and kind of where we're at from all of that. And I have already had a prejudgment of you already, obviously, because I talked to her first.
Oh yeah, obviously, absolutely.
And so before I really judge somebody, I like to know their full story. So I would like to know if we can just start off literally from you coming out the womb until where we are today. I would, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like whatever you feel I need to know. I know you want to get to the you and her stuff, but like I'm like I said, I've already judged you. So I would like to get to know the you before that, if that makes sense.
Sorry, Zena. I just big old case of water. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
So I wasn't quite home yet, but I just now parked. So I will turn this car off so I can put my earbuds in. Tell me where you want to start.
What? Okay, we just got disconnected. Okay, hold on. Okay, you there?
Yeah, we got disconnected.
Okay. All right. So, let's just start from where are you from? Let's just be generic about it. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Landstuhl-Rhineland, Germany. I was raised until I was 8 in Flint, Michigan, and then from ages 9 up to 18 in Cleveland, Ohio, and then from 18 to about almost 21, I went to 48 of the 50 states selling multiple items like industrial cleaner, magazines, types of carpet and stuff because I was on the run from law enforcement.
So like a door-to-door salesman kind of, or what?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. And so when did your trouble with like the law begin?
March 26, 2000, Jesus. March 26, 1996.
Oh, okay. And what did you like start out doing? Like what is your the path, I guess, that led you to do whatever it is you started doing?
So that's when I started to fight. I got into fighting, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then I would challenge the local boys around Manhattan, Montana to, I said, hey, you can either give me that bike or we can fight for that bike. And then I just stole like 36 bikes and got my first felony.
So when did you move to Montana?
I wasn't actually moved there yet because my mom was in like a phase where she was progressing her life and she was currently a stripper at the time, so I got tossed around the family a lot. So that was early February of 1996. My grandparents moved from Flint out to Montana, and I stayed there in the summer of 96, 2000, and 2005.
How old are you in 96?
11 years old. I was about to be 11 on July 31st.
Okay. Okay, so that's when it all starts in 96.
Correct.
And so you've been in Montana since then?
No, not at all. They pressed the charges against me in 96, and they were going to put me in Pine Hill, I think it's called, or Pine Wood or something. It's a juvenile detention facility in Montana, but then they found out that I was based out of Ohio, so they transferred the case back to Ohio, and I got a plane ticket back to Ohio, and I got put on juvenile probation about 3 months later in Ohio.
Okay. So what was your life like in Ohio?
It was rough because about 6 months after we left Flint, my mom was abused by this guy named Ron. He was trying to beat her up, and I was young. I was like less than 10. I can't remember the exact age, but I went up against him with one of those mini Louisville sluggers, and I hit him like 5 or 6 times, and he said, "Forget this, I'm out of here." And then he left, and my mom made a couple phone calls, and we packed up a trailer, and we moved to Ohio. And then like 2 to 3 weeks after that, she got pulled over on the side of the road by a cop that asked her out, and it was all good for a while. Like, I did my chores, I had a job, I went to school, everything was pretty normal. And then like that rebellion started to come out, and I'm like, I don't want to have a cop in my life at all, just because like on the side I was selling drugs and
Right.
like doing all the stuff that you're not supposed to do, and I was living with a cop. So it was okay until I was about 15, but then for about 3 or 4 years after that, it was just turmoil and stress for me, my mom, and my stepfather. It was just a bad time because like I'm just a knucklehead basically, and I don't know, wasn't very nice.
Right. So when did so the violence, like you started acting out violently when you were like, what, did you say like 11?
No, that wasn't violent. Well, yeah, like I guess so, but like I didn't beat people up unless they were in agreement to fight with me until I was about 16 or 17. Back when I was 11, when I stole those bikes, I would say, "Hey, you can either fight me or I'm going to take your bike." And they would either say, "Okay, cool," and then I would fight them. But like, I wouldn't really approach people and just beat them up for no reason until I was like 16 or 17 years old.
And where does that stem from? Like the wanting to just, because like I have an idea of where I think it stems from, but where do you think it stems from? And mine's just like a general overall where it stems from. So where does yours stem from?
Trust me when I tell you this. If I had any idea, I would do everything in my power to reverse that. But I honestly have no clue, no idea why my brain works like that. I cannot give you an honest answer because I do not know.
Where like the bully part comes from?
Yeah, like I honestly have no clue. Like, Carissa has told me time and time again, go get therapy, go get counseling. I'm like, no. Because like, when I was a child, I was in therapy, I was in counseling, and what I would do, I would bring in these Harry Potter books and be like, "Hey, this is what I read lately in this Harry Potter book. It's part 3." And the counselor or the therapist would get all frustrated and say, "That's not what you're here for." I'd be like, "Oh." So like, we never got anywhere. So I have no idea where that stems from, just to be completely honest with you.
Do you have a thing with like dominance and like control and power?
Yes, I do. But it doesn't overpower me. I don't want that to sound weird on a podcast, but like, for example, and it's super prison-y, and it sucks. So like, if I met your boyfriend or your husband or any, like a male that you know, I'm not trying to be specific towards you, but like, if I met a male, then we had like 2 interaction, then I would judge him. And then within that 2 hours, I'd be like, okay, this guy can definitely be told what to do. And then I would be like, hey, go get me a drink real quick, bro. And like, because I don't want to get up. And they'd be like, okay. Like,
you're trying to check and see how bitch made they are.
To put it bluntly, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, like I said, my brother, and we'll get into, so when did you go to jail for the first time? Let's start there. When did you go to jail for the first time?
So that was April, May, June, July 7th, 1996.
Okay, so you were young.
Yeah, I was definitely young.
And then when did you get out?
From that period until 99, I was out for about 3 or 4 weeks because I got out and went back in, went out and got back in because it was only like probationary holds. Like I didn't actually hurt anybody or do anything. It was just what people were saying against me.
Like what? Like give me an example of like what you would get in trouble for that somebody else would say you would do.
Like disorderly conduct. Like if I was late for school like 3 times, or if I didn't want to do the chores in my house, my stepfather would call my probation officer. Or if
Gotcha.
my bus if my bus got dropped off and I was home at like 3:45, and then I ran to the neighbors to get a couple smokes and came back and I was a half an hour late. Just like little petty stuff like that. It wasn't anything major.
When did you start dabbling in like alcohol and drugs and all of that?
You know what? That's probably the best question you're going to ask me this entire time, because while I was in prison, I did about 11 and a half years until I started dabbling in Suboxone. And then I did Suboxone every day for about 6 months.
In prison? In prison?
In prison, yeah. Suboxone.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I did my last piece of Suboxone January 30th, 2019, and then January, February, March 16th, 2021, I bought an entire strip of Suboxone, and I kept it on top of the cabinet in my bathroom, and I never touched it. I just put it down all the way. And then I got out of prison January 31st, 2019, and the first drink that I had was a margarita at an Applebee's, and I barely had a quarter of that drink, and I was just completely smashed. And then on February 6th, 2019, I went to the strip club with my cousin, and he bought me a double Jack and Coke, and I could hardly walk, and I didn't drink at all. Like a very, very moderate drinker, like I would buy a pint, and I had a pint of Fireball, for example, in my freezer for 2.5, 3 months. And I said, hey man, come over here and finish this Fireball for me. I can't even have a shot of this. And then I drank moderately up until December 6th, 2020, when I got off of federal probation. And then my head just went, oh, fuck it, let's drink. And I just drank way too much, way too often, and I couldn't handle myself. Like, I thought that I could, I thought I was okay, but I just become a raging asshole.
How long were you in prison for? Like the extent of your prison, how long was that for?
12 years, 362 days, almost 13 years.
Where at?
So it started out in Deer Lodge, Montana, and then I went to Glendive, Great Falls, and Shelby, Montana, and then it went to, I always forget the name. Oh, jeez. Its nickname is Murder Mountain in West Virginia. And then I went from there to Victorville, USP in California. From there, I went to Beaumont, Texas USP, and then back to West Virginia. Because no matter what, you get transferred every 18 months. And
federally, is that in that? And that's federally.
Yeah, that's federally. And from that point, I got out. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of that federal prison in West Virginia. But yeah, that's where I got released from.
Was in West Virginia?
Yes.
So then why did you choose Montana to go to?
I did not choose Montana to go to.
How'd you end up in Montana?
Because this is where I caught my charge, was in Missoula, Montana. So they made me come back to the place where I caught my charge.
Oh, okay. So do you have family in Montana?
Not anymore, I did.
Okay, so what's keeping you in Montana?
That's a good question.
Because you're from Ohio, right?
Yes, and I do not want to be here by any means. It's that's McDowell Beckley. Sorry, I'm looking this up, but there's nothing keeping me here except for that I have to be here because I have on this GPS monitor. Like I drove down to Idaho. I can't remember Naples or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But I went down to Idaho this week and I came back up because I was just alone. And I just.
What'd you come to Idaho for?
Because that was the plan, and I had a job there at TSA. It's Tire Services of America, and they were paying me like $38.50 an hour, and
Damn.
That was the plan, and I had that job lined up. So I'm like, okay, I better go do this. And then I'm like, this is too lonely because I don't like being alone. And Chris is like in Kentucky or something like that. So I knew I was okay. She wasn't around or anything, but
right.
I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. I hate to be alone. It drives me insane.
Because you two have a no contact order, right? From my understanding.
Oh yeah. And if I thought she would have been there, then I would have said, okay, I'm not going there because a friend of mine talked to her sister and she said something about Kentucky or something. Because the reason that conversation got brought up is because Carissa doesn't know this, but well, now she probably will on the podcast. But we went to her grandmother's house in 2019, and we went into her father's old house, and I was looking around, and so was she, and I found an envelope that said, "To my daughter Carissa, I love you. I'm sorry things happen like this." That's what it said on the front of the envelope, and I have not opened the envelope. So I put that envelope inside of another envelope, and I addressed it to Naples. I can't remember the name. And I had my friend contact her sister, and I said, "Hey, what do you want me to do with this? Excuse me, with this letter?" And she said, "Oh, just bring it to me because our dad never wrote any letters but to me, so it's probably to me." And I said, "No, it's not to you. It says Carissa." So, yeah, that was the main reason I did that. And I was going to try and start a job and get a place to live and all that stuff, but I don't know anybody down there. I just, the thought of being alone is oh, I'm back in prison now, so it's not really worth it.
Right. So is it your guys' law stuff that's going on in Montana that's keeping you in Montana?
Yeah, for example, staying at my house because, like, not thank God, but thank God, it's like a catch-22 that I have a warm place to stay. But, like, she left the state or the city, or I don't know if she's in Billings or Great Falls, or I don't know where she's at. I have no idea. But she left, so I'm now allowed to go back to my house until that lease ends. And, like, thank God I went back to that house because she needs money. And, like, yeah, I do too, but I'd rather have her money than me have money. So, like there's, like, two big wax stains on the carpet. There's a big old burn barrel and a grill and a wheelbarrow and a bunch of dog toys in the yard and stuff. And all that stuff's cleaned up now. And I talked to the property management office, and he's talking about splitting the check half and half. And I'm like, no, that belongs to Carissa. She paid that. And, like, but that's where I'm living now until the 31st of May, and then I have a place over in Belgrade I'm going into.
So, okay, so now you admit that the abuse is true, right? At least you wanted to defend yourself on some of the stories. Is that what I'm understanding from our previous conversation? Is that...
Well, I'm not going to admit to too much because, like, in the podcast that Carissa and Taryn made, where Taryn's T-Money spoke, like, most of it, and by the way, a little side note, Big Terrible Taryn, BTT, that's her other nickname.
I love her nicknames. I adore them.
Big Terrible Taryn. Yeah, that's what I call her. But, so when Carissa was hitting that little SOS button on Life 360, the actual charge there was inflicting fear into a partner or a family member. So she said that I got to that gas station and they pulled me out of the passenger door, and, like, no cop that knows me is gonna even attempt to be crazy with me without a gun. Like, they're not gonna do it. What had actually happened, and my word to God, I swear to you, I'm not lying to you, is, yes, that is correct. She was hitting her SOS button repeatedly. And yes, this is correct. I knew this. But what could I do about it? Nothing. So we got to the Conoco in Manhattan, and we both exited the vehicle, and she left before I did. And then I got out of the gas station. I'm looking for her. I said, well, where the hell did she go? And then I got about 3 or 4 steps outside of the gas station, and I had about 5 or 7 cops around me. They said, Mr. Beard, we got to talk to you. I'm like, okay, let's talk. So we talked about the incident that happened in Butte, and they went back and forth between us for about 45 minutes because she was on the other side of the parking lot and I was by my car. And they went back and forth for about 45 minutes, and then they finally determined that I had invoked fear into her. And based off of what she told me, she just wanted me to go to a mental hospital to be evaluated or something like that. And I'm like, okay. And they arrested me. I went to jail for the night. I pled guilty because I did scare her. She was scared, absolutely. But I did
why?
not touch her. Because I'm an idiot. Let's get that out there.
Okay.
But because we were getting on the highway from Butte, and I said, hey, Carissa, can I have a cigarette? And she said, no, I'm driving. And we were going like 15 miles an hour, so I took the steering wheel, and I turned right and got off the highway.
You fucking did what?
Yeah, I know.
You're not an idiot, fool. That's crazy.
Yes, I know. I know.
God damn. Okay, sorry. Go on. That just made my heart stop.
We were only going like 15. It was like we weren't going
Okay, go on.
I know, like, it's a lot of prison shit that I need to get rid of. I get it. So, pulled off the road. She jumped out of the car, went back behind the car about 50 yards. I lit a cigarette, smoked a cigarette, came to get her, brought her back into the car, and the whole way back, it's about an hour and a half drive. She's pushing her SOS button to T money. And I'm like, yeah, I probably deserve that shit. That wasn't the right thing to do. And that's how that first incident happened. I pled guilty. I've been sentenced.
What did they sentence you for that? What did you get for that out of curiosity?
What did I get for that? I had to pay $274 in fines,
Damn.
do 40 hours in anger management, and that was it.
Damn. Okay, go on. Sorry.
No, that was it. That's it. That's all that happened.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And then where does the ankle monitor come in now? Like, what happened now to where you're in the situation that you guys are in now where it got as bad as it did? What's your version of whatever that situation is?
So the first thing that happened was I was dead asleep. Like, dead asleep. I gotta get out of this car for a second. And she was, I guess, on the phone with her sister or something like that. And she was on her knees behind the couch where I was sleeping. And I said, what the hell is going on right now? Because she was getting all hypey. I'm like, what the hell? So I got up and I wrapped my arms around her. I said, hey, what's wrong? And she just, nothing's wrong. And like, she goes into this fast speech pattern where, like, she just tries to evade and get away and, like, be alone. I'm like, no, Carissa, you do not need to be alone right now. You're obviously going through something. Like, tell me what's going on. And she screamed a couple times, and her sister was in her earbuds. Carissa has never, ever called the cops on me. Like, not once. It's always been other people that were either, like, on the phone or, like, in the room or something like that. Like, she is not the one to blame. I'm the one to blame because I'm an idiot when I'm drunk. But, like, I've been sober now for longer than I've ever been sober. Like, since I've been drinking.
But really, you really, like, you really want me to think that, like, it's just the alcohol. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, it 1,000% is, because Carissa would even tell you that, like, he's an awesome person when he's sober, but you put a couple of drinks in him, and you'll see somebody you don't want to see. And that's exactly how it happens.
So then what keeps you from realizing that from an alcoholic's perspective? Like, what keeps you from, like, realizing, like, I'm a danger to people when I'm like this? So, like, and, like, right now, I understand, like, I get that you're saying that you're sober or whatever, but, like, are you doing it for you, or are you just doing it for the hopes eventually that she's going to come back to you?
I am doing it 100% for me to be more healthy, and I've already started doing my CrossFit again. I have my kettlebells, and I feel amazing, and it is for me. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that there's hopes that she'll come back. It is a hope, but it is not for that hope. It's for me to be healthy and not be as I was.
Right.
Absolutely. And the thought that drives me and says, go ahead and have a couple of drinks, you'll be okay, is a cocky, narcissistic attitude that shouldn't exist.
To be honest, dude, like, the fact that you wanted to come on my podcast and talk to me on Give Me Your Side kind of seems cocky in a way because I was in a situation, I was a very, very abusive situation. And no matter what I've ever said on this podcast, has he ever reached out and been like, oh, my side needs to be heard. And I asked people, I said on my Facebook, I'm like, this is the situation, I'm talking to this guy. And a bunch of people are like, this dude kind of seems narcissistic. Like, he's like cocky, he's very like, I don't even, like, it's very rare that a man will come and admit his wrongs and not shy away from them. And it's very odd. And like when you reached out to me, literally why I agreed to talk to you besides the whole like other stuff is the fact that I'm dying to know like truly what you have to say and like what your side is. And I just I don't like, and I just don't understand, really. I just don't understand, to be honest, what your hopes are out of coming on here. Like, you know that she listens to this. She is one of my highest listeners. So she is going to listen to this the minute it comes out. So, like, are your hopes that she's going to listen to this and be like, oh my God, he's not drinking, my life will be perfect and come home? Or are you really doing this to be like, hey, I'm not the asshole I seem to appear to be?
No, absolutely not, because she knows beyond the shadow of a doubt that I am not the asshole that I appear to be. She knows that I'm a good person when I'm not drinking. She knows that she loves me or loved me. I'm not sure how she feels about that at the moment, but she 1000% knows when I'm sober, I will go to war with God behind you. Like, I will fight anybody in the world to make you happy, and I will do anything in my power that I can do to make you happy. Like, when I'm sober, when I'm drunk, don't say something stupid, don't fucking walk funny, and don't sing a song because I'm gonna get pissed.
Right.
And it's all bad. It's just, yeah, like, you don't mix negative with negative. And I'm not saying Carissa's negative because she's a beautiful person, she's smart, intelligent, and I love her. And I will never, ever, ever stop loving her. She's amazing. But you don't mix that with psycho. Like, psycho with drinking. You don't mix it. Like, she can be crazy. That's fine. And I accept that, and I have accepted it, and I've helped her several times. But you don't mix that with drinking. You just don't do it.
Right.
And that's what I did. And that's why we failed. Because I drank, and I drank, and I drank, and I didn't listen. And the first time that happened, like when she said I got pulled out of the car by the cops, which I didn't, that's when we should have had the 30 days, the 45-day break. Because then I would have learned all the things that I learned now. Like, that's what I should have learned then. And we just both came back to each other too fast. And we shouldn't have done that. And now, I lost her forever. So it is what it is, I guess.
And it's not always a bad thing, honestly. To be honest, maybe this is a good thing in the long run. Now you can get the help that you need and get the relationship down the road you need. And maybe Montana and this side is not, you know what I mean? Your fish ain't over in this type of sea.
No.
You know what I mean? Maybe you need to go.
Like, I completely get what you mean, but it's, at this point, I am sober. I'm doing good. I'm working out. I'm using my kettlebells for the first time ever since Carissa got them for me. But like at this point, it's about her. It's about her saving the relationship with her daughter. It's about her not losing her entire family. It's about her mental health and her well-being. If she doesn't want me in a relationship, that's fine. But she doesn't need to lose everybody because of me. Like, I'll leave and I'll go to...
Well, no, they'll come back. They'll come back because, like, there is, from what I understand, there is no getting back together. You know what I mean? So they'll come back to her eventually, and you'll get your people back too. I mean, eventually, your guys' lives will go back to being the way they were before whatever they turned into in the involvement of which you two had. Because it's not easy to be with an abusive person. Because, I mean, you do, even T-Money even said that even being with your guys' situation, a lot of people were lost because of the situation you two had. So now that you guys don't have that situation, she will get that back. And then you can get sober and, you know, get your own type of stuff and find your own sort of happiness outside of that. And this can just be a stepping stone and a learning stool for you to go from.
Yeah,
you don't sound like an asshole. Like, I'm gonna be honest, okay? You don't sound like a dick. Like, I get that people can be dickish and have their moments in life, and you guys have whatever you guys have. And for what you guys have and what you guys have gone through, I can judge from what that situation and say, I'm not a fan of that guy.
Yeah, so the very first time that I was dickish, me, Carissa, and Taryn were all drunk in our apartment, and we just got back from the bar, and I was standing in the kitchen, and Carissa was eyeballing me from the front door, and I'm drunk. I'm feeling like a fucking moron. She comes up towards me and tries to put her hands around me and kiss on my neck, and I straight on her and push her back. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get away from me. I'm going to bed. And that was the alcohol in me. Because, like, if she had done that sober, I'd have grabbed her up, picked her up, and kissed on her, too. And, yeah, alcohol don't mix with me at all. Not at all.
Right, the defensive in you comes out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I really hope you stay sober, because it sounds like that is like an obviously known problem that you suffer from.
Yeah, it's super bad. And the only reason it wasn't that bad before December 6th, 2020 is because I was on federal probation, so I had to like regulate my drinking because I had to go and take a breathalyzer twice a day. So I was like, okay, I can have this many shots, yada yada.
You figured out how to fuck the system like everybody else does.
Oh, of course. And
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I can't get smashed. And I never got smashed until after that date. But as soon as, like, December 6th, I got off probation. December 8th, I caught that first charge because I drank a whole bottle of Jim Beam rye whiskey. And I'm like, okay, probably shouldn't do that again. But then we got back together like 4 or 5 days later, which we needed like a 30-day break. Like, teach me my lesson. Don't just let me come back to you. Teach me my lesson and tell me to stay away. That's what we needed. And now it's too late for that.
Well, I mean, and now it's just a different... I mean, I hate to be like, you're right. I mean, it is. I hate to be the blunt ass and be like, you know, maybe, I don't fucking know. I assume it is from what I understand of the situation. And mind you, I am just a girl who just answered an email, and here we are. I answered her email. I talked to her. I never in a million fucking years ever thought you would ever reach out to me and be like, hey, there's two sides of this. So, you know what I mean?
Of course, I was waiting for you because you posted your podcast twice, and then I heard, oh, he thinks this is going to be about my childhood. So then I'm like, what? It's not about her childhood? Because I listened to it, and I'm like, oh, I thought this was going to be about her childhood. So, like, she had that planned.
Yeah, I knew the whole time it was going to be about you.
Yeah, so, like, she had it planned for a month and a half, like, to talk about me. And the secondary incident is when we were hanging out, headed to the river, about to turn right, and she flipped a bitch and did a U-turn. Like, what the hell? And then it was like 3 hours, and I didn't hear from her. And she called me and said, hey, I just got hit by a state trooper. I'm like, what? Where are you? I'm like, I'll go beat this state trooper's ass right now. I don't give a shit.
Me and T Money were on the phone for that. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane. And so I said, oh, so that's where she said that I was in a different town and I pulled to the gas station next to her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I was sleeping in my uncle's house and she called me and said, hey, I just got hit by a cop. And she told me where she was. Because that was boggling my mind. I'm like, a different town? Bozeman or Belgrade? Or I don't understand. Because I totally didn't get like what the different town was. But since you said that, that makes sense. But yeah, she totally called me and texted me. I had a text on my phone that says, hey, I just got hit by a state trooper. I'm at the town pump. And I said, okay. And then I recorded her phone call on video to the sergeant in command about the incident, like the whole thing. And that's when we went back to the campsite until like 6:30 or 7 in the morning. But yeah, that was not random. Like, that was completely planned. I said, hey, Carissa, it was like Thursday. I said, hey, Carissa, you want to come over, have a camp out with the dogs? We can sleep in a tent by the river. She said, okay. So I went down there, got her, came back, pitched a tent, went to the gas station. On the way to the gas station, she flipped a bitch, and she was gone for like 3 hours, got hit by the trooper, cooled things out, went back to the campsite.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. That puts me, I don't know. I'm like in a weird situation because I don't know what to say. And that's...
Yeah, it's all good. You don't have to say anything. I'm just telling you, like, what happened. Like that was not a spoof. She was in Big Timber, Montana. That's because that's where I was living, and we had a tent pitched and everything. Like, that was not a spoof. I promise you that. That was not an accident. I didn't just appear there.
From what I understood, you followed her there.
Yeah, to the deepest parts of my soul, I do not want to say anything negative about Carissa. Like, I really don't.
And I would prefer you not to.
I'm not going to, but she... So, like, say if... I'll just give you an example to try and make things a little more peaceful. Say that you, for example, are driving down the road, drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels or whatever, and you're looking down at your phone, you're not paying attention, you're rear-end the car, you go off the side of the road. Then you have 10,000 ideas that run through your head. What can I say to the cops? Right?
Right.
So, Carissa doesn't do it like that. That first thought that comes to her head, that's the end of it. That's the thought that I'm sticking with, and that's what I'm going to tell everybody. She will not change her mind, change her mood, or do anything anybody else wants on this planet. She is going to do what she wants, when she wants, how she wants to do it, based off of that first idea. So that's all I have to say about that. She's a spectacular person that I wish more people were like, because she's honest to the point and very blunt, and she is herself, and she doesn't try to fake it for anybody. She's an amazing person which I still love deeply. But I'm not going to say anything negative about her. I'm just going to say that first idea that she has when she's in a bad situation, that's the one she sticks with and she runs with. Like, what can I say to everybody to make this seem like it's not my fault, or to make it seem like I'm okay, or like whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Well, kind of in the same way, you kind of do that too, and you blame it on alcohol, right?
Yeah, kind of, but like mine is actually because of alcohol. Like, if the last time I went drinking, which was about, what is it, Saturday, so about a week and a half ago. No, about 2.5 weeks ago, actually. I went to the friendly, and I had like 6 or 7 shots of Jack, double shots, and like I was with there with like 6 or 7 guys that I know, and I said, "You want to see something funny?" They said, "Yeah, what?" I said, "Come out here and check this out." And I went out to the smoking area, and there were like a bunch of people out there. I said, "Hey, anybody want to fight?" And nobody said nothing, of course. And it was just funny, but like, sober me would never do that. Drunk me would do that in a heartbeat. Like, alcohol has a very bad effect on my brain, and it's not peaceful.
So how long, and you've been sober for, what did you say, 2 weeks?
It's the 22nd, so 13 days, completely sober.
So maybe stay like sober for like a year, and then maybe go into maybe a relationship. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like legitly, if you say that that is the stem of every bit of your issue, is that's it, right? There's nothing else in your life that makes you be that way, just the alcohol. Maybe that's something, or is there something else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, that is a very large percentage of the issue, but like, naturally sober, like, I am like a bossy, controlling person, but I'm not going to get violent with you. I'm not going to put my hands on you. Like, unless you try to put your hands on me, like, that's all bad. But like, I'm not going to try and control you or manipulate you or anything like that. But like, I am a controlling, bossy person, but like, I'm a Leo. So like, I don't know what that has to do with it, but like, when I'm sober though, I'm not going to be aggressive, hostile, or violent. So yes, to what you're saying.
Gotcha. So yeah, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, take this relationship, thank it for what it is, and then just progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
get the fuck out of Montana, because God, I've been to Montana, and like, you know, Montana.
Yeah.
Like,
it was 81 degrees 3 days ago, and now there's 6 inches of snow on the ground.
It's been raining all fucking day here. So like, yeah, like, fuck Montana. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, get off the ankle monitor and the shit, and go get a life. Go grow a life. Like, I don't want to say go get a life, because that sounds like a bitch, but like, because I'm not saying it like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, start a free, because from what you said, she's in like a whole like fucking Kentucky or something. She's gonna start anew, so you should too.
If I was gonna be completely, I shouldn't even say that. That made me look bad. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I because this is recorded and stuff, like, but let's not have thoughts of, yeah, let's just carry on with a different topic about where she's at. That's all good. I'm not, yeah, it's known that it's not concerned about. I'm good to go.
So we're not looking for her, you're saying?
No, I was, and
you were actively looking for her.
her voice. I was looking for a conversation with her.
Oh, so like a phone number or something like that, or what?
Yeah, like whatever, like a phone number, a FaceTime, a YouTube, like Twitter, like whatever. Just like to say, hey, Jamie, me and you were done. Hey, Jamie, get sober and come find me, or like whatever.
Like, hey, Jamie, a restraining order is not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm at a loss here. So, like, you've never heard her say, like, we're broken up. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, the last time that we communicated, I saw her at Walmart, and she sounded super happy for about 30 seconds, and then she got all mad. But, like, I hugged her, and I said, I love you, and she said, I love you, too. And then she ended up saying, get out of my car, because I was asking her about that TV that she sold. And then I got out, and then, like, 2 days later, I checked on Facebook, and the relationship status was canceled. And like 2 hours after that, she changed her phone number and like turned off her Facebook. Well, she didn't turn it off, but she blocked me. And then I'm like, well, damn, you could have said, Jamie, I'm done. Like, be verbal. Like, say something to me. Don't just leave me hanging here, because I will never, ever, ever in my life mess with any other girl until I know that she's done with me. And I need to hear that from her. Like, I will never, ever, ever even hit on a girl until I know for a fact that she's done. But I'm hoping and I'm praying to God that she needs a break and that she can come back eventually and see that I'm sober and understand that, and we can have our best life, and she can still have Emma in it, and we can spend the summers on the rivers and the lakes and play with the dogs. That's all that I want. That's
so
it.
really, you are using this to talk to her, even though you said earlier you were not. That's really what you truly are doing.
No, not at all. Like, I'm telling you all this stuff without even thinking that she's going to listen to this. I'm being honest with you right now.
Okay, and like I'm trying to be nice about it, because like I like her. Okay,
Yeah, she's great.
I do.
Yeah.
And
there's no reason not to.
Yeah, and I have spoken to her since you've reached out to me.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? Like, it really is time that, like, maybe we do just get better for Jamie. You know what I mean? And just forget and thank the situation, and just, she's in, like, you are a big fear for her. Even though you may not see it that way, you are. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know that I am. I absolutely agree with you, 100%.
So there's no taking that back, my friend. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's going to remain. That's not just going to go away because you got better. You know what I mean? She has permanent, in her mind, scars from that relationship.
Yes.
So it's not ever going to be what it was. You know what I mean? Like, my ex is a great guy. He's a good dad. He's a solid dude. I cannot be around that man without vomiting. I have a mental, physical fear of him that would never in a million years happen. Love the guy to death. I thank him for the relationship we've had, but it would never happen again. And that's kind of where she is the relationship was a relationship. She obviously cherishes many moments with you, as you do her, but it's just a chapter in her book. You know what I mean?
Of course. I absolutely agree with you.
And I really want you, because it sounds like if you get the help that you need, you can be a solid dude. From the sounds of it.
Yeah, and like, without the alcohol, like, absolutely 1,000%, 100% guaranteed.
So yeah, dude, focus on you. Like, don't focus on a relationship. And I understand in your mind right now, that might be like, okay, easier said than done. Dude, like I said, I've had my shit. I get it. It does take time. But really, I hope you do stay sober, even though it's going to get hard. 13 days, as you know, is nothing compared to a lifetime.
Well, the hardest part to get over was like the initial DTs, and I went back to my doctor because this happened before, like 3 or 4 months ago. I got those Valium prescribed and like the dose to detox yourself off of alcohol. And back then I took like 2, and then I would have a drink.
Oh, dude, detox is a bitch.
Yeah, and I didn't do it right the first time, but I did it right this time. And the only reason I'm not inpatient now is because I didn't have the proper insurance, so that I couldn't go into inpatient. But I did what was it, like 16 days of outpatient, and it helped a lot.
And you're getting treatment there in Montana? And what part of Montana are you in? I never even knew what part she was in. Oh, okay. Yeah, because like I said, I didn't even really know. Her conversation, even like you said, was mainly what was recorded was T-Money. Because honestly, I don't know what happened when she kept going in and out. And so T-Money was who I was talking to mainly, as you know. And so I didn't get to ask her a lot of questions on the recording. So like a bunch of what we talked about is not recorded. So I never even knew what part of Montana y'all were even in. So when do you get done with all of your court stuff, with all this stuff that you're going through right now? When does all that end for you?
Well, so Carissa recanted the charges. She was obviously going to trial, but since she's out of the state, I will be off of the ankle bracelet here soon, and because of her recanted statement and her failure to appear, the charges will get dropped, and I'll be done here about 8 to 12 months.
Oh, okay. So what's next for you? Like, what's next for what's your next move in the world?
Well, so as soon as I'm able to, I'm going to not go to Idaho without a freaking place to live. I promise you that. That was terrible. I'm gonna go back to Idaho just to be out of Montana. Well, either Idaho or Washington, one of the two. I haven't decided yet, but go to.
Oh fuck, dude! I'd pick Washington in a heartbeat. What part of Idaho would you be interested in?
Here, hold on a second. I'll tell you what it's called.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I'll tell you here in a second. I gotta Google it. You want to forget the name? Oh, it's called Nampa. Nampa.
Okay.
So there's a commercial tire services place there, and there's like 3 or 4 of them and like that's what I do is tires. So and they all pay at least $34, and the highest paying one is $46 an hour, and it's like good paying jobs.
Oh, okay. Nampa's it's pretty. Washington's way cooler, but.
Yeah, and that's why I'm leaning towards Pasco, Washington, because my dad lives there. I'll have a place to stay until I can get my own place.
Where at in Washington, sorry?
Pasco.
Where's that by?
It's in the Tri-Cities.
Oh, okay. Oh, dude, for sure.
Pasco, Richmond, and Kennewick.
Oh, just hands down location, I would go to Washington for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like 99.9% Washington. But like the pay is only like $29.50 an hour. It's not as much as it would be down there, but still like it would be free rent, so like I'd be making
Right.
the money in rent.
Oh God, dude, just that nowadays alone's fucking worth moving anywhere.
Yeah, the place I wanted to move into in Napa was like $1,100 a month or something, but it was like 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, separate garage, and all that stuff. But I can't do it by myself. So yeah, it's odds up I'm going to Pasco, Washington, like 99.9%. But it's just a thought on my brain.
It's dude, Washington's fucking awesome. I love Washington. Every time I can, I go. Every time I can get out of Idaho, I fucking take the chance and I hit it and I go.
Yeah, but like for me, it's always been the farther down south I can get, the farther down south I'll go. But
Right, because it gets warmer, right?
yeah, exactly. But like, you know, if I gotta take a break for 6 months to a year in Pasco, and then save up some cash to go down to freaking Vegas, Colorado, or whatever, then that's what I'll do. But like the thoughts of finding Carissa, like, yeah, they exist. Of course, like, why wouldn't I? I love her. She's like amazing. But will I ever find her? I highly doubt that shit.
Right.
I highly doubt that shit because like I talk to her friends and her exes and stuff, and like I know how it is.
I hope, dude. I hope so. I hope you get that. Like, and I know that's hard. Dude, breakups are like the worst fucking thing, and like your guys' breakup is now a very, very public one. And the whole world fucking knows y'all broke up. And so, like, and I hate to be the one in the middle who's like, yeah, bro, let's go throw the fishing pole somewhere else in the sea. But like, really, that's what we've come down to. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I get you 100%. But like, I'm not gonna do it just because like
I know.
I don't know if she told you this or not, but she is the first relationship I have ever had.
Well, and that's not
like long-term relationship. Like I you know, little boo-boo kitty fucks or whatever for like 2 or 3 months as a teenager, but I ain't never had no relationship like living with a female, like doing it, like, and that's why it's so hard.
So you played house for the first time.
So I what?
So you played house for the first time.
Yeah, I played house for the first time.
All right, well, see, like, it's just the first time, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, dude, I've lived with plenty of dudes before I got married. Like, you know what I mean? And, like, last dude was a complete piece of shit. So you gotta take them and go and grow. You just go and grow, bro. You go and... Disney taught us something very precious. It's called let it go. You just gotta let that shit go. And it's hard, it's painful, and you're gonna, don't wait to hear that y'all are broken up from her voice. Like, as of right now, it would be against the law, for one, so let's go there. And for two, like, that's just not kind of what she wants, you know what I mean? Like, she left in the way that she left for a reason.
Exactly, I agree with you.
And that's to not talk to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I hate to hear that that you're waiting for it. You know what I mean?
And it sucks for me because like the only thing I can do is like put on TikTok or like call somebody and talk to them. But like when my mind isn't otherwise focused, I go into a deep ass, stupid ass depression where like, God damn it, because I fucked it up. I'm the reason that it failed.
Yeah, but you can be the reason why the next one succeeds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but...
Aha, I got you there.
Yeah, but like, I agree with what you're saying, but like, trust me, I promise you there ain't gonna be a next one. Like, I'm gonna be that old scrumpy guy.
You can't be one and done. Come on, bro. Like, how old are you now? Because I was only 6 in 96. So you're not that much older than me. You can't just be one and done the first time. That's just not legit. You know what I mean? Come on. That's not fair to anybody, yourself or anybody else.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not fair, but like, Carissa's stubborn, but I'm goddamn stubborn. Like, if I can't have you, then I'm just gonna have a job, rent out a little tiny place, just like my dad. My dad's 55, and he's been single since he was like 23. You know, dude, just like he did. Like, if I can't have Carissa, then I'm not gonna have anybody. Like,
a lot of datelines start that way too. You know what I'm saying?
well, yeah, but like, but like, I'm not gonna look for her or try to find her or like wish her ill will. Like, that's not gonna happen. It's just my emotional state. Like, okay, settle for this unless that comes back, and if that does, great. If it doesn't, well,
then we'll just sit there and wish and hope and die hoping.
Well, yeah, I guess so, huh?
I mean, come on, yeah, like when you put it like that, that's what you're gonna pick.
Well, like for now, like I'm sure, given time, that'll change. But like
for now, that's where it's at.
But like, yeah, that's how I feel in the moment.
Yeah, I can respect that for now. For now, I can respect that. But I hope that changes for you.
Get in the magazine.
And something else comes along, and and you stay sober, and I don't have your next girlfriend emailing me saying fucking chapter 2. You know what I mean? Because obviously it happens. Now you know your shit can turn public in a heartbeat.
Well, this will be strange to say to you, and I know we're on a freaking podcast, but I'm still going to say it. If I have another partner, that partner is probably going to be a guy.
Oh, say what?
Yeah.
Drop the mic. Hold up. What? Now you caught my interest for the second time.
Yeah, so I'm not lying to you when I tell you I would never, ever in my life be with another girl. I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, you did 11 years, and so, I'm guessing some shit popped off.
I did almost 13 years.
So, well, yeah, okay, so 13 years. I'm guessing you've had your orange is the new black moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
I figured. God bless it, man. Maybe that's what you should do. Fuck. Maybe try that route in life, bro. Maybe that's your calling.
Yeah, it might be, but goddamn, Carissa was a lesbian for 12 years, and then she met me, and then I met her. Like, I got gay tattooed on my freaking knuckles. I got gay pride.
No, you don't. Are you serious?
I got gay tattooed on my knuckles and gay pride tattooed on my stomach.
Oh no, I didn't. Not oh no in a bad way.
Shit gets deep for real.
Well, I'd be baffled. Now I really don't know what to say.
You ain't gotta say nothing. I'm just talking to you, so dude.
I know, but I'm supposed to react, and I'm just like, well, fuck, maybe that's just the way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? My brother fucking mentioned some shit like that. He's in jail right now. And he was like, oh, yeah, the guy I talked to. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, damn. And my I've always been like, that bro. You're not just gay for this day, you know what I mean? You check out and stay a little longer. Just not at the hotel. But,
I get that. That's funny as hell.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, maybe, dude. You know what I mean? I do wish you the best of luck, though, and I really do think it's very different of you to want to come on here, and I understand why you wanted to. And I respect the fact that you did want to come and like defend your name in a way.
Yeah, I got you.
And so this is very, like, and I told my husband, I was like, this is the first time this shit's ever happened. I kind of feel like Dr. Phil, but I don't have you both. You know what I mean? So I want to be like the parting wisdom and be like, oh, you guys are going to be so great, separate and like happy. And like, I don't really know. Cause like I was even telling T Money, really talking to you, you have all control of this relationship, this relationship me and you have right now. You have all control because I can't fact check you. I don't know. Anything you say to me is what you say to me. It could all be a bunch of bullshit. It could all be truth. Who knows? I don't know. So I was like, I was like, dude, it's just like, I've never, usually when I talk to somebody or talk about something, I know a little bit of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this has been a very different experience for me. It's not as scary as I thought, to be honest. I thought you were going to be a complete asshole. So it's comforting to know that you're not. Like,
yeah, I'm not. Like, don't get me wrong. I totally can be. Like,
oh no, I know. I heard you can be. I know. I've heard, but at least in this situation, you're not. So that's very calming to me.
Well, that's awesome. I respect that completely. I appreciate that.
Because I can be a little offensive and I can come off a little hard. And especially with when I hear that you have a jail background, I figure that you don't like to beat around a bush. You know what I mean?
No, I hate bushes. I'd rather cut that bitch down.
Exactly. And so I've literally dealt with the prison system since my father went to jail when I was 13 years old. And every one of my friends have been in prison. My brother both of my brothers are in prison. I have one in federal prison. I have one in the local jail going up to Boise. So like I have it everywhere. I've dated the people in prison. So just to be able to talk to you in that aspect of the straight way of this is what I've been told and this is what you need to just like let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And better yourself. And like I said, I appreciate you wanting to come on here and defend your name. And you didn't really defend it. You never really said, hey, I didn't do those things. But you never really said, hey, I did do those things except for one instance. And I'm sure there's millions of more times that happen that neither one of you.
I wouldn't say millions, but yeah, there's a few stupid things that happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm sure there's situations that neither one of you have talked about, and that's completely fine. You don't need to. And so, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, this has been a different kind of situation than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, this last thing I wanted to bring up, I'm going to turn this car off. I'm sure it's loud for you. I apologize.
You're fine.
So, do you remember when they said we went to the hot springs for a couple hours, came back, and it's like he had somebody watching us or something because he just appeared? You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so like, I was waiting, and I was waiting, and I was waiting.
Why?
And I never heard it because I'm about to tell you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I get impatient. Sorry.
It's okay. So we got this thing on our phones called Life 360, where like you can see where somebody's at.
Mm-hmm. My husband had it when he was a trucker. Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, and like she knew
where you were.
No, she knew how I knew where she was.
Oh, okay.
But they came up with that thing like he had somebody watching. I'm like, this whole time I'm waiting like for the words Life 360 to drop out of one of their mouths, and it never did. But like, that's how I knew where Carissa was. And then I saw her at the hamburger joint. So I drove up there, and Carissa was eating. Taryn wasn't hungry. They didn't have no pants on. I'm like, what in the hell's been going on? Because I was drunk and acting like a fool. But yeah, like, that's how I knew where crazy. Like, I can't believe that didn't get brought up once.
That you weren't stalking them, waiting.
No, stalking them, no. Like, checking Carissa's location because I'm a super fucking giant idiotic control freak. Yeah. But stalking them, no. Like, I was nowhere near them. I was sitting at the house just waiting for them to come back into town. And they came back into town and they were parked for about excuse me, for about 15 minutes. I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm gonna go down there and see what the hell's going on. Because they've been gone for like 4 hours. So I drove down there, and she was in a good mood. We lost our pants! And I was in a bad mood, so I snatched her keys.
So you came and popped the party bubble.
Yeah, I'm like, you stupid drunk ass. You should have been in a happy mood, got the back seat, had a couple fries and a bite of a burger, and enjoyed the rest of the day. But you was drunk, so you acted stupid.
Right.
And, that's all I was bringing up was that Life 360 thing is like,
Have you ever stalked her? Be honest.
huh?
Have you ever stalked her? Be honest.
To me, that's like a loaded question because, like, to me, like, I did a lot of time in prison, and if I have a sentence, that's like under my thumb, like, and he walks out of the cell, hey, where are you going? What cells you going to? How long you gonna be gone? Like, that's normal. But like out here in the world,
that's not normal.
Like, no, it's not. So like, to me, okay, to you, the answer is yes. To me, the answer is no.
You don't see it that way, but by definition it is.
By definition it is because, like, I checked her location too often. I try to see where she was too often. I was creeping on her, like, for no fucking reason, like in the middle of the day while we're both at work. Like, hey, where you at? What are you doing? I'm loading pallets at Pepsi. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm busting tires at Wayland. Okay, I'll talk to you later. And like, it's just, the fucking conversion is so hard to make. And
the ownership, like, it's like ownership in a way.
I wouldn't call it ownership. No, I wouldn't go that far. In no way ever did I feel like I owned Carissa. Like, I felt like I needed to know where she was. And
but don't you always want to know where something you own is?
I do believe that's manipulation. But
well, I do, like, you know what I mean? Like, coming from, like, my point of view, like, outsider's point of view, like,
okay, so
why do we always gotta know? You know what I mean?
Let me bring up a story on January 15th of 2019. Can I tell you that story?
You're good with dates. Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah. I got a thing with numbers. You can ask Carissa about have fun counting that, boy. And as soon as she hears that, she might not like me now, but she's definitely going to giggle when she hears that. But, so, I'm sitting at home. This is the first place that we bought. It was a little apartment. And I get this phone call. She said, hey, Jamie, I gotta go. I said, where do you gotta go? She said, I gotta go to Billings right now. I need to check myself in. I said, check yourself into what? And she said, I need to check myself into the mental health center. I said, oh, okay, well, come home real fast. Let me say bye to Roxy, and you can put Roxy in the car, and then you can head out. She said, okay, I'll be there in 2 minutes. She clocks out of work at the Magic Diamond Casino. said, what's going on? Tell me what's wrong. She said, I gotta go. And she just starts breaking down in tears. I said, okay, we're going. Which way you want to go? You can go east or west? She said, Billings. I said, okay, we're going east. So we get on the highway. We're going about 75, 80 miles an hour in this Civic. And she pops open the door, tries to jump out of the car. So I grab her and put her on my lap. I said, no, you ain't dying. You ain't dying. That's for sure. And we keep on driving. And she finds a pill bottle, and she swallows some pills, like 30 or 40 of them. I'm like, what the fuck? And then she starts to gag a little bit, so I pull over. She pops open the door and pukes, thank God. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? And then because of the residual pills that were still in her body, she fell asleep for about a half hour. And we got to Livingston at a gas station, Lucky Lil or something like that. And I said, what's up? Are you okay? She said, yeah, I'll be okay now. I'm fine. I'm sorry. And then I said, okay, I'm going to go into the store. You stay in the car. She said, okay. And then I go into the store. I get us 2 packs of smokes. I get some gas. And we head back to Belgrade. And we get back to Belgrade. I get her into the apartment, onto the bed. I say, hey, what's going on? What do you need? She said, I just want to relax. I said, okay, I'm going to go get us a TV so we can put in the room. And we can just watch Netflix and chill. And she said, okay. I said, are you going to be okay? She said, yes, I'll be okay. And I asked her like 50 times, are you going to be okay? Please tell me you'll be okay. I'll be gone for like a half an hour. She said, yes, I'll be okay. So I went and got a TV, brought it back, hooked it up, put Netflix to it, and she was fine. And the next time it happened was like 8 or 10 months later, like she was cutting her legs up and stuff in the bathtub. Like I would walk in there and act like I didn't notice, pretend it was hair dye and shit. But like, Carissa, just come on and lay with me. Just relax. It's all good. No big deal. And like, I just wish that there was never anything negative going on. But like,
okay, but
I had the negative alcoholism and she had the negative
mental health issue.
Yeah. And like, those didn't swap with each other.
They don't. And they don't mix. And you know what I hear from that story? Is I hear that you knew you could manipulate her. And so getting into the car was your way of keeping her with you. And she knows she needs help. Yeah, bro. Because, like, okay, in that situation, she's telling you right then and there, she needs help. This isn't a situation where we need to prolong it and take her home.
That was a situation to where she was going to fucking pull off the lane and run into a goddamn semi if I wasn't in the car. I was saving her life.
Well, that part, I hope, I don't know about that situation. But, like, right now, dude, she's getting the mental health that she needs.
I'm not talking about right now. This is 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, like, absolutely. This is like, right now, she is 100,000% getting the mental health that she needs. She's doing what she needs to do. I was telling you a story from 2 years ago.
But it sounds like there was, like, repeated attempts, though. You know what I mean? Like, from that situation to go on and say, and then it happened again. You know what I mean? Like, was she stopped from getting the help she needed before because you thought you were the help she needed? Is where I was going. Is where you thought you could help her.
Yeah.
More than anybody else could.
So, like, we would come home from a bar, and she would be in a great mood, and she would say, hey, I gotta go take a bath. And then I would go into the bathroom.
Well, don't air all of her business like that. Don't air all of that. But yeah, like she struggled.
Yeah. She was struggling, and then I saw what was happening, and then I tried to reconvene the situation. Yeah, I'm not trying to put her out there on blast.
But so there was like multiple times where you could have been the one to be like, hey, let's go check you in. Did you ever do that to help her with her mental health in a way? Was that ever a situation
Absolutely.
to where that happened?
Hope for there's something called here in Gallatin County, I forgot the name of it. It's like Hope or Heart of something like that. And I'm like, hey, let's just go here. She said, no, they're not going to really help me. We need to go to Billings. I'm like, okay. But then, like,
what's in Billings?
I don't even know what it's called, but like it's an actual psychiatric unit, which is
okay.
here in Gallatin County.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure like what's all in the Montana area. So okay.
It's just
like it's like an inpatient, like voluntary kind of place.
Yeah, like they'll hold you for like 72 hours or something like that.
Okay, here we call that place BHC. So it's like a behavior health center.
Yeah, pretty. Like,
okay.
I think so. Like, I've never been there, but like, based on what she has described to me, it's like a 72-hour hold, and then yada yada.
They help you with your meds, get you on meds, med check you.
Like
that type of shit.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'm assuming you're saying, like, what's proper.
I have. We're both throwing rocks at it. I have no idea.
I do want to apologize. I did not mean to get frustrated.
No, you're fine. Because like I said, I'm telling you from my side. And like I said, I already have some pre-notions on you. Just being a girl and hearing her side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you heard the podcast. You have a best friend crying, thinking this girl is going to die by your hand. Like that's how you are made. That's how you come across.
Yeah, and like there's a whole lot that I could say about that I won't because it'll make her look bad. But
and thank you for that. But like, you know what I mean? So that's where that's where this is found. Our foundation is based on that.
Yes, exactly. And I agree with you 100%.
So and I apologize if I sounded like a bitch in a way, but that's just kind of where I see it in my eyes. That's where I see when you described that situation. That's what I saw. So I apologize if my way offended you.
Oh no, it didn't at all. You're fine. You're good to go. Absolutely. Like it's just an emotional situation. So like,
and it's fresh. Like
you said, it's all good.
And it's very fresh. Like I said, you guys are going through this very publicly, very fresh. It's very new to, and like when she changed her number, I didn't even have her number. I don't even have the correct number for her now. And it's through different channels I'm communicating with her. I haven't, like, you know what I mean? So she is in legitly, I need to save my life, better myself mode. So that's where we should just leave her, and we should worry. You should worry about you, and
I am.
Grow from there and stay sober, because it seems like that's truly what, as hard as it's going to be, that sounds like your demon is your demon.
Exactly. I agree with you.
And try the dude thing. Fuck, maybe that's the way to go, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I agree with that also, for sure.
Maybe. I really do, even though this has been probably the second strangest interview I've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly just because of where our foundation is. Like I said, I never in a million years thought you would ever be like, hey, can I come onto your podcast?
Yeah.
So, Like I said, it's very, very new to me that I've never had a Dr. Phil situation pop up in my line of podcasting. So, but what do you want your final moments, I guess, to be?
That I'm doing the best I can do to be the best that I can be, and I wish my past of intolerance didn't ever occur.
And any hot dudes hit up Jamie.
Yeah. We ain't gotta worry about that. I'm so goddamn depressed right now. I probably couldn't get my pecker hard for a freaking model. You know, it's whatever.
Personal issues, we got it.
All right.
All right, well, like I said, thank you, and I wish you the best of luck with your sobriety and hopefully your new adventures in Washington, and if that's where you choose to go, and just best of luck to you.
Yeah, and just send me this link so I can listen to it. That'd be great.
I definitely will. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well. Goodbye.
Bye. Okay, so that happened. And I don't know. I gotta soak that up for a minute. And it's very strange when you have this type of thing happen. And to be honest, I was iffy, okay? I was iffy on doing this, but mainly because in a weird way, he has a right to defend himself in a weird way. I have a friend who listens to this who does like legal stuff or whatever, and his name was said, but not like his legal name. So there's really no way of tracing it back to him. But she lists, like, you know what I mean? She was like, hey, he could sue you for defamation of character. And so I was like, oh, okay. Because eventually I was like, I don't know, bro. So how this happened, how this come about is I get this message and it says, like, you did a podcast about me and I would like to tell my side of the story. And I didn't, because she didn't really go into who he was and like his name, like, of course, who he was in their situation. But like, I never asked really what the fuck his name was. And so when it came up on my thing, I was like, okay, whatever. And went about my day. And so when he messaged me, I just instantly was like, I did the cocky thing. I'm like, oh, thank you for listening. Thanks. Sure, I'll call you. And then I called him and he started explaining it, and my face dropped and I looked stupid and I was like, oh fuck, this is the dude from like, the domestic shit. Oh. And so I'm frantic trying to figure it out. I get a hold of Team Money, thank God. And I talked to Team Money and she talks me off my cliff. And then I decided, you know what? Fucking let's just, besides the whole legal, let's hear him out. Let's see what it has to be. And I really think that it's going to take him a minute. I really hope that, and believe me, there is two dramatic different sides to this. This is not going to be a 3-parter, 4-parter, 5-parter fucking scenario. We're done with this situation besides what I learned on a personal matter. But anyway, and so there's completely two different stories to this, and obviously there always is, and I'm not gonna sit here and say what I'm not gonna do. I don't know. I think both are hopefully truthfully getting the help they need, and hopefully I have not spoken with her, but I do know she listens to this. And so hopefully she's getting the help that she needs wherever it is that she is. And hopefully he gets the help that he needs and that they can get different, better lives. You know what I mean? Like, breakups are fucking difficult, dude. And especially when there's violence and abuse and alcohol. And in this situation, alcoholism, which alcoholism in its own is just a different type of creature and animal. And so it's very hard to deal with alcoholism. And I know that from a very personal experience, it's very difficult. And so that in its own is its own monster. And having other problems on top of that on both sides are just, it doesn't balance out. Like he said, it doesn't mix. And like in my situation, it was meth. And so like it's not good. My ex is not a terrible piece of shit. Wink, wink. In my eye, he will forever be. But what fascinated me so much about Jamie is my ex in a million fucking years would never be like, hey, my side. Never. I could lay everything we ever went through bare on this podcast, and that man would just go about his day. Be like, I don't fuck it. It's a whole other person, bro. Like, I don't even know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, never in a million years. Ever. I don't ever think, anyway. And so, there's just... But on the same term, I mean, if it does turn out that he did just play us all and everybody had a, like, off and on good moment laughters and he played us all and he really is like this crazy dude and kills her, we have it on recording that, like, hey, some shit might have been plotted out. You know what I mean? And so on the other hand, this can be something that he looks back on in a couple of years when he's been sober for a very long time in a couple of years and gets a hold of me and is like, hey, do you mind deleting that episode? I kind of look like, you know what I mean? I don't want him to exist anymore. Like, I don't know. I hope they both get the help they need because they both sound, even though they both have, and he has his demons and she's been through what she's been through with him, grow from it and go on, because I don't hate my past. My past is my past. I've been through it. I don't hate him. I don't ever wish to be in the same room with him ever again in a million years. I don't wish him death, but I don't hate what we went through because every ass beating, every argument, every fight, every fucking bruise, every lashing I ever took taught me something in a roundabout way of what I didn't want and what I don't need and whatever. And so going through a domestic abuse situation, and that's what it was. I don't know if that's what he refers to it as. I didn't ask him, as you heard. I probably should have. But that's kind of what it was. From the gist of it, that's what it, and when you're in that situation, it is. It's a domestic abuse situation. And those situations are hard, and they're hard for both parties because you have one person who really does truly honestly believe that it's that one thing that makes them that way. Okay? And it's only that time that they're like that. But man, you gotta fucking see it through her eyes. And that one thing happened so many fucking times that it replaces every good time there was. When you start thinking back in your head, you don't hear and you don't see the good times any longer. They're not there. They're replaced with the last fight, They're replaced with the last argument. They're replaced with the last thing you said to her, the last whatever situation it was. That shit replaces the good shit. That replaces the laughs on the way to the store. That replaces the cute little side eyes you give each other before you go fuck real quick. You know what I mean? Like, it starts to replace that shit. And even in a non-abusive even in a mentally, like in a verbal one where you're fighting with your spouse all the time, that shit starts to replace the good shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be an abuse situation. It's just a bad relationship in its own is when you no longer hear the good time and you constantly hear the bad time. And that's when you do have to part ways. And eventually, sometimes that time, it's forever. That is a parting of ways. People get divorced, they get remarried, you go on and you move. And hearing him say that he's going to, at least right now, never move on from her is very troubling. And I really hope when he hears this back and you listen to this back, you hear that and you go, okay, that probably wasn't the best choice of action to say. Because it's troubling, because people, like, relationships are hard. And breaking up, divorce, and like this relationship wasn't very long. So it's, I don't know. I just hope that there's no more contact that doesn't obviously need to be. And like, I haven't physically spoken to my ex in God knows how long, to be completely honest. Like, years. We broke up when I was 18, and I think I've seen him a handful of times. And literally every time I see that man, I want to puke and vomit, and I get sick as fuck. Like, he is the definition of, like, boogity boogity to me. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's all I gotta say. I always end this shit like this. I just don't know. So I'm going to put this out a day early. And so today's the last day you can vote for me. Let's turn this about me now. So go and vote on the post register for me one last time, if you please would. If you don't vote for me, please vote for the Jeff and Greg podcast, because I absolutely adore them. Even though I have not met them in person yet, I just adore him. I just do. So I don't care. People can hate on me if they want. But they are doing a show. So let me tell you about this real quick. And I'm super fucking stoked for them, because this is just probably the coolest thing. And I haven't been to a show in many, many moons. So I'm super, super stoked to be able to go to this one and meet them. This probably, hopefully, will be, I get to meet them in person. So it's like, fangirl, but like not PQ fangirls, because they're married. So there's no pussy quivers involved, but like PQs, you know what I mean? Anyway, so they're having an event, and it's called The Blackout here in Idaho Falls on Saturday, June 26th. And it's going to be fucking amazing. The Jeff and Greg podcast, like I said, they're hosting it. You have Touch 208 who's going to be there. And that cute little St. Michael's going to be there. He's fucking precious. So I'm a bunch of people so far. And like, I've checked out everybody that Touch has put on there. I've listened to the stuff that he's put on there. And it's going to be just so much fucking fun. I'm so stoked. So if you are in the surrounding area, it's $10 a ticket. You can come and have a good time. Saturday, June 26th. You don't want to miss it. Like, if you haven't been to an Idaho Falls party, you haven't been to an Idaho Falls party. Like, you don't know, we can get down in a good way. It's fun. I've never had a bad experience out at the bars here. even though I'm not a drinker, I'm a smoker, but I still love to go out and have a good time. I still drink a little bit, not much, but I'm super, super stoked. And I'm super stoked to meet these guys in person and get to meet them and have this experience. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to keep reminding you guys of this event until obviously it happens. And then I'll probably remind you guys about how fucking awesome it was forever after. So come hang out with me. Like, even if you don't want to meet them, wink, wink, I know you do. But even if you don't, definitely come and hang out with me because it's going to be fun. And I'm trying to talk my husband into going, but he doesn't do this type of stuff. He's a very homebody and I love him, but he's not a very social butterfly. So I don't hate on him, but it's going to be fun. So I'm stoked. I'm trying to talk him into it. So hopefully you guys can meet my husband, but if not, I'm cool enough by myself. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So you guys have a good Sunday. Blessed it be. Amen to the big guy upstairs and whatever have you that we do on this day. And I can't wait for football season. That's when I can go back to telling my work that I'm religious, so I don't have to work on Sunday. But now that I work overnight, it's kind of a bitch because I'm like, fuck. I can watch the games, but then I can't sleep. You know what I mean? It's a catch-22. I guess I could sleep in the morning. I'll figure it out before football season. But that's what Sundays remind me of. Sundays remind me of a bomb-ass fucking breakfast and football is what they should be. Growing up, I spent my Sundays in a bar. No shit. My mom was a bartender at this bar here in town. It's a members only bar and it's called the Eagles Club. It's a very nice place. Very nice folk come out of there. But very nice guys. But that's where I spent my Sundays as a child. We'd eat because they do they have their nonprofit or whatever. So they have a charity. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. They do charity work a lot. They're a very charity-based foundation. They're amazing. And so every Sunday, if you ever in the Idaho Falls area want a bomb-ass breakfast, go to the Eagles. It's over by the jail. And you can get all you can eat, literally bomb-ass food for like $7. And 9 times out of 10, my fucking parents are going to be there. So you can go see my stepdad and my mom. So, but that's where I spent my years growing up, playing darts, shooting some pool, hanging out at the bar, smoking cigarettes. I haven't smoked, though, in fucking a year and a half, a cigarette. Don't smoke them cigarettes no more. But yeah, so come hang out with me. Come chill. It'll be fun. You guys have a good week, and we're going to do another episode this week. And I'm super, super stoked about this one. It's also sports related and crime related and a good binge. So it's going to be a good one. All right. I love you all. Peace the fuck out.